Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. I'm just going to go live for right now. At least we can start it off before Adam gets in here. This will be our pre-live show or our live stream, like on Twitch or something like that, before the show actually starts, just to get the audio correct. Because we had a great show last week, or yesterday, should I say, and the audio wasn't correct, but we didn't have any feedback from the comment section, so we didn't know it. So let me know if you're in the comment section already, if you're already checked in early, if you're a member of the channel, supporter of the channel. Let me know right now, what does the sound like? Is it okay? I know we got some background noise going on back here, but let me know, what does it sound like on your end out there as we get ready to start the show officially. Salute Warren Loans out there. What does it sound like on your end? Let me know. Let me know. What does it sound like on your end? Are we good to go? Show will be kicking off shortly, but we just got a pre-show, kind of like a sound check, like Warren Long just said right there. Got a sound check, check it in. We got the pre-show banter. If you're an 85%er out there, you know what that is. So yeah, what we're gonna do now is recap day 2 once again from the Big 12 Media Day out in Las Vegas at Allegiant Stadium, where the Raiders play. We're going to go over pretty much, probably not everything, but get some pointers on what Coach Prime said. We'll talk about a few things that Shedeur Sanders said, and we'll go from there. Y'all let me know what y'all doing, what y'all checking in, how y'all checking in, where y'all checking in from. As I see Warren Loans, Delosky, Selma Johnson up in here, and I'm drinking me a nice fruit water with some pineapple, blueberries, lemon, and oranges in it. check out, check it out if you want some, get you some. You know what I mean? So in the meantime, in between time, Chi-Town up in here, Reverend BJ up in here from San Fran, and we got Adam checking in now. Oh, now
Can you hear
Adam,
me
how you
over
doing?
there?
I can
I'm
hear
doing
you. I'm just, I had to come on to get a pre-show sound check to make sure I'm good, because for some reason I'll find a reason to make sure my audio is messed up when we go live. so it, so it sounds like we good to go now. The people in the chat, all the supporters are in the chat right now saying that we're good on the audios. So other than that, we could talk about some good things that you posted. You got some good pictures, you got some good video out there, and also you posted everything Coach Prime said in his presser today. And we can go over some pointers on there, but let me know and let the people know out there what stood out to you on some things that Coach Prime said, and I'll come in and piggyback off of that.
Yeah, sure. I think my favorite part of today is when, after the big press conferences, they did some smaller scrums on the side, and we got Shilo Sanders and Shedeur Sanders together
Mm,
in a media scrum. And we had a chance to do that during spring ball, and we told the sports information guys that we love that. We would take those two together because they play really well off each other. And an example is, I asked Shedeur Sanders, how specifically has the mentality of this offensive line changed? I think we've all seen it in terms of the size upgrade, the talent upgrade, the experience upgrade, and then we've seen on Well Off Media and Reach the People in the pregame show the fire that's in the belly of those guys. But I was just kind of curious what Shedeur would say, and Shiloh kind of stepped in and said, "Hey, I'm the one that goes against those guys every day, and I can tell you
yeah.
they're legit." He said they try to pick a fight every day, and Shiloh loves that barking back and forth. And so he said he alluded to the fact that he really enjoys that mentality that this offensive line has. And he flat out said they didn't have it last year. We all saw that, but just to kind of hear them talk about that mentality. And when Coach Prime was doing his main press conference, the first group he singled out was the offensive line. And so that's what you want to hear as we're leading up to the season, because certainly we know if that unit lives up to kind of some of the things we've heard out of the program in the last few months, and they are a strong unit that this football places is going to go places this season for sure.
Most definitely. And Shilo was there. I'll go over this really quickly. Shilo was there. Shedeur was there. Mark Vassett was there, the punter. But we didn't see a Travis Hunter, who's originally on the list for players who was supposed to attend the media day. Do you have anything on why he didn't attend? I can give you my speculations out there if anybody listening. I think Travis just didn't want to go. I think Travis, if he had an option to, he probably was like, "Nah, I'm good." But that's just my guess. He probably had some other things going on. Who knows? But did you get any information on why Travis Hunter wasn't there?
I asked about it. I was told that he simply was not there when the private jet was scheduled to leave for Las Vegas. We saw earlier they were kind of planned a family trip, and Shilo didn't get to the airplane in time, and they took off. So you got to get to the airplane on time, and he didn't. So there was one less buff out here. Travis Hunter was great at times at last year's media day, but it is such a long day. And we even heard Mark Vassett say today that I'm getting asked the same question over and over again. And, they have a great attitude about it, but it does wear on you. You're being pulled here, you're being pulled there. And so certainly I know Travis Hunter would rather be out fishing than dealing with all the random questions that you get asked at media day. It's a bummer he wasn't here, but we
Yeah.
also did get him. It wasn't Big 12, it was Pac 12 last year, but we got him in that setting last year. And he'll certainly have every opportunity to showcase himself in the coming months.
All right, we can go to back to Shedeur Sanders, and you spoke about him shortly, and but I was able to witness a video and see Shedeur with all the media around him, and he spoke on, uh, his upcoming season and what he's done in the past in his career, throwing for over 3,200 yards, and he's expected to do even more this year, is what he said, because he missed a game and a half, and he got sacked more than anybody else in college football last year, but he's still coming out there with the attitude of, you know what, I'm going to be better than I was last year. And also he said he's not looking past North Dakota State being a FCS ball club. What do you feel about Shedeur Sanders improving on his numbers last year, and then looking forward to the first game at with North Dakota State coming in?
Yeah, I mean, he did set the passing yards record at Colorado last year, but there was a feeling that there was so much more for him to accomplish if he had gotten some protection and stayed healthy, all 12 games. He did make a comment today. He was asked about kind of how he felt coming off of last season. And he said, the fact that I didn't play in the last game is all you need to know, because all throughout high school and until that point in college, I had never missed a football game. And it doesn't matter that much to Shedeur Sanders. And so that's all you need to know about just the fact of how he was feeling coming off of last season. But it's less about the numbers, I think, and it's more about the wins for this football team. And if they can establish a strong ground game, I don't think Shedeur Sanders is the type of quarterback that is going to need to have 300 plus yards every game if they're able to manufacture yards in different ways. And so I'm not even really focused on those numbers. I think he's going to set a lot of Colorado records this coming season because of how talented he is. But it really does seem like for him, it comes down to having a bad taste in his mouth last season and really being focused on what the scoreboard says more than anything.
Yeah, and looking to North Dakota State, Coach Prime said that's a team that we're not looking forward, or not looking past, should I say, playing them in the first game. He also said jokingly that he asked Rick George, AD Rick George, "Hey man, give me a layup or something, dog. Why you schedule these guys uh, first game of the season?" So North Dakota State, Shedeur Sanders said he's not going to look past them. Himself coming from an FCS program in Jackson State, he knows how good these guys can be. They just need an opportunity, or probably got held back or looked over or whatever it was, but they can play football. Some of the highest competition he said he's played against was in the HBCU level, Alabama State, Alcorn, and other schools like that. What do you feel about North Dakota State looking forward? I know I have a kind of like a preview and talking to Brian coming up next, and he's done a preview of North Dakota State. But what do you see that we must look out for and not look over with North Dakota State?
North Dakota State is kind of the FCS version of what Utah is. They're very solid in the trenches and they have just enough skill talent, but it's a program that just develops guys so well. And I know Coach Prime hates the word culture. He even kind of bucked back against that word today. But there are some of these programs like a Boise State that's gone through all these coaching changes, but there is, and this is where I use the word culture. There is this winning culture that's kind of embedded within that program, and the expectations are high, and that's partly why Colorado, I feel good about them, is that there are these high expectations, but there's the guys in the program that have the ability to live up to those expectations, and that's what North Dakota State's program has been for a very long time. And they do have a new coach. It's going to be a different team, but again, uh, in Colorado, the fact that they're not overlooking them, that's half the battle right there to start out. And so they're saying all the right things as far as that goes. So maybe that's the one good thing about, if you're going to have an FCS program, having it be a North Dakota State. I agree with Coach Prime. You probably don't want to schedule that game, but maybe the one positive there is that you will definitely not overlook them, because you know their history, their reputation, and it's going to be very easy to motivate. And I'm sure the coaches are going to mention and point out some of those big upsets that North Dakota State has had over power conference programs in the past.
Hmm. And it's going to be a packed house at Folsom Field. A lot of people are going to be there just to see the big brand new jumbotron and to see some new uniforms. So a lot of new things might be going on at that first game, and we're going to have a lot of new players too. And one of the new players that Coach Prime mentioned, he didn't mention a lot of guys, but he did mention B.J. Green. Uh, Coming in as a leader. He formerly played with him at Truth, so he's getting like a new reunion, reuniting with him. But he said Arizona State really raised him well. He's coming in with a great work ethic, doing the things that he expects from B.J. Green. He expects him. He can see him being an NFL player. He named some other guys on that defensive line: Anquin Barnes, Shadozi Nwankwo, and Tafiq Thomas, and a few other guys, Shane Coates. Uh, what do you think Coach Prime feels about his defensive line? How confident is he in his defensive line, stopping the run, going against the pass this year, and being one of those top defenses that can help us get to a bowl this year?
Well, he likes the depth a lot, and that was one of the things he pointed out as he was just listing off guys. And last year, that list was not as long as it is this year. There's still some questions of how many all-conference type guys are there on this defensive line. B.J. Green was on the preseason media all-conference team, and so the expectations are pretty high for him. I love those guys that are built like Chidozie Nwankwo and BJ Green. And I know everybody loves the length, and that's what the NFL covets, and that does help guys. But when you got these guys with wrestling backgrounds that play the game of leverage really well, low man wins most of the time in football. And so those two guys, I'm just anxious to see create mismatches. BJ Green is a guy that can play multiple techniques up front and be really disruptive. And that's the thing that's exciting. Also with the edge group too, and Samuel Okunlola, and you've got Deion Hayes, and Coach Prime went out of his way to mention Tajay McCoy today as well. And so
Yeah.
I think that's where you like it quite a bit more, is just the depth of that group and being able to withstand some injuries as you go through the season and not having that big drop off from the first group to the second group.
All right, we're going to ask the chat right now to put as I see people doing already, but we're going to actually do it officially. Put your breakout players on offense in the chat. Put your breakout players on defense in the chat. Who do you think will be a standout or breakout player on this squad? I'd like to point out Trevor Woods. And Coach Prime, I just heard him say that Trevor Woods could be like a Brian Urlacher, a guy who came from safety and moved down to linebacker. Very smart, rangy, can cover. Might not be as big as Urlacher right now, can still put on some weight, but Coach Prime loves what Trevor Woods brings to this ball club overall. How well has Trevor just been transitioning into that linebacker and leadership role? Have you seen, and how will that translate with this defense and help them be successful overall?
Yeah, I mean, based on what the people inside the program are saying, is that transition has gone really well, and he provides so much versatility in there. And sometimes in the past you'd have a tight end matched up with a linebacker where you have kind of a mismatch, and
Yeah.
they feel like Trevor Woods is going to be solid in coverage in that sense. I think, to be honest with you, watching him play linebacker at the end of last season, I wasn't a huge fan of it, and I thought maybe he'd move back to safety, but Then in the spring, Trevor Woods told us that he never really even practiced at linebacker. So now he's got a whole offseason, and this is a high football IQ guy. So he's going to
Yeah.
pick up that defense. He's going to look a lot more fluid, I think, a lot more explosive in that role this season, having these reps now and kind of seeing the game a little bit closer to the line of scrimmage. The one thing about Trevor Woods is he's been a playmaker since he started playing football. He makes big plays. You can go back to his high school tape, and you almost get bored watching his high school reel because it's pick six after pick six. He comes into
Wow.
Colorado as a true freshman. He blocks a punt against Arizona, recovers his own punt, and runs it back for a touchdown. And so since then, in the last year, obviously big interceptions in the CSU game and in the opener against TCU as well. So he's a playmaker, and now he's closer to the line of scrimmage. How does his body hold up? He's still not, very big. He's put on a little bit of weight since last year, but maybe that would be the concern there. But again, talking about depth, you've got more pieces at linebacker now. Maybe you don't have to play him 100% of the time out there at linebacker.
All right. We'll be on for a couple more minutes. Any questions, put them in the chat right now for Adam. Adam, tell us some things that we might not know about that's going on out there in Las Vegas. I'm back here in Hawaii right now. Yeah, I know I might be fooling some people in my background, but what are some things we might not know about that's going on out there in Vegas?
Well, we got the TCU Horned Frog on camera yesterday when I was kind of touring you guys around the media day situation here. I'm telling you, for 2 days straight, it's been like you're kind of like keeping an eye out for these mascots because they're up to no good around every corner. They're like in game mode too, and they're doing their whole
Yeah.
routine. And it was funny at first, and now I'm kind of over it. But no, it's been fun. They brought out cheerleaders to kind of add to the atmosphere. They've gone a little bit bigger than the Pac-12 ever did. The food,
Yeah.
hit or miss. But the Wi-Fi's been a little choppy as well. But really, this has been a better event overall than we had in the past. But
You said
maybe
wait.
don't
You said
invite
the
them.
food. You said the food hit or miss. I heard the breakfast was terrible, but then they bounced back with the lunch. Why was the breakfast so terrible? Did you
It had no
experience
it had,
that?
it had no taste, Chico. Like, I mean, if yeah, I mean everything is. I was just pouring Frank's Red Hot all over my breakfast this morning just so I could have some type of sensation in my mouth because I wasn't getting it from the food. So that was frustrating. But yeah, maybe
Hey,
they
yo,
don't need. So
yeah. Some people will catch that in the chat. I got a lawnmower behind me right now. It doesn't look like it, but it is what's going on outside my window. Is the wife still there? Took some great pictures. How
she
was
did.
it? Experiencing this with your wife this time.
Yeah, it's good. She was out at Pac-12 Media Day with me last year as well, and it's a good experience for her because when I start sharing stories about things during the season, she's got that point of reference of, oh yeah, I remember that player, that coach, and so it's kind of fun in our house to be able to chat more about some of the stuff I'm dealing with. But she's great. She kind of goes off and just does her own thing. And she was a professional photographer for a long time. And so she's done everything from weddings to kart racing to basketball to just standard portraits. And so she's very talented. And we're lucky to have her services out here.
Definitely very talented. You'll see a lot of her work on buckstampede.com and on Bigg Dogg Chico Sports Talk on Facebook and things of that nature. Y'all check that out. But tell me this: are there any mascots that actually talk out there? I meant to ask you that.
I haven't heard any of them talk. The one that really kind of creeps me out is the BYU Cougar. Like they're like dead eyes. You can't see anything in there. I'm gonna have some BYU people coming after me. The TCU Horned Frog, he grunted in my direction at one point, but I didn't hear any words out of the mascots, and they did a good job. None of them took their hat off in public, their headgear in public. They learned from the Oregon Duck last year not to disrespect Coach Prime, so they all kept their headgear on.
All right, so leave us with some stuff, Adam, as I got a bad ad behind me right now.
What's going on back there, Chico? Fill me in. You got a lawnmower back there?
Yeah, we got a huge lawnmower that wanted to come and right behind me. It's always something. Trust me, it's always something when you try to go live with Bigg Dogg and Adam for some reason.
We're cursed for some reason, but we're gonna keep coming with it. And one of these days, it's gonna be seamless and it's gonna be beautiful.
Well, until then, like you said, we're gonna keep coming. Y'all want it, we're gonna keep on bringing it to you. So stay tuned. Hit us up on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, buffstampede.com. And stay tuned. We got Buff Time Podcast coming up next. All right. Y'all know what to do. Hit the like, subscribe, comment, all the other good stuff. Bigg Dogg, Chico, and Adam. We up and about this thing. Peace in the Middle East.